Now it's time that we have the Academy panel discussion on future of bioinformatics and data science in India, challenges and opportunities. As I had introduced Dr. Anshu and Dr. Suchi, I would now like to take this time out to introduce Dr. Sagar. Dr. Sagar is working in the area of computational biology from last 15 years. He has served as various academic and administrative positions in academic institutions. He has published 30 plus research articles in peer-reviewed national and international journals and has one patent as well. He has received 40 lakh grant from BSD served to conduct research on asthma and allergic diseases. He is a life member of Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India and Biocruise Society of India as well. He has delivered 10 invited talks in national and international conferences and seminars. We are pleased to have you all among us. And Dr. Mohit, I would now like to pass on the stage to you to take this session. Over to you.
Thank you, Sonalika, and it's an honor to be here on this academic panel as a moderator with all the educators here amongst us. So one of the main objective coming to this session and learning about the different application of bioinformatics and leading to the fact that the very important fact is about the interdisciplinary nature of this subject, bioinformatics, and with this substantial growth and growing influence of bioinformatics in health and environment and the society, how we can utilize this, how we can integrate this into our education, how well we can integrate this, what are the challenges, and where are we with all of this in India, and specifically what are the new opportunities that we see in India in terms of the new educational policy, and then the challenges and the benefits of bioinformatics being a subject, or the research behind the bioinformatics could be something that could be done online. And like as Dr. Anshu said, that many of our projects are between labs and it's collaborative in nature. So how different it is from traditional research versus bioinformatics and the collaborative nature of all of this. And then some of the promising areas, because we have a huge community of students who are biologists, who are coming from a background of biotechnology and other life science backgrounds, where they would help with the promising areas that an expert is seeing in India and Asia, where there are opportunities, which would bring us to the last point, would be the job opportunities in India and academia, and like for students from different backgrounds who are completing masters, some of them starting at a high school level versus someone who is doing masters and PhD in bioinformatics and starting from there. So these are some of the questions that our team thought would be helpful for the students based on their feedback, as well as based on what we have been observing as a bioinformatics training and educational company, working with some of these students who are joining us and working with the expert and developing some of the projects while learning a lot of skill sets. So with that introduction, I would want to invite all the panelists to have this academic, to be a part of this academic panel discussion, to help find answers or to have that discussion, to give their opinion. And with that, like, we would want to start with this question of is there a need for data science education for life science students? Now, to define this question, because bioinformatics, as we know and as from our experience, has been evolving really rapidly, and that's what we have observed in the presentations as well. That I mean, the integration of new research. There are thousands of articles getting published. There are new algorithms which are coming up, and there are new data types that we are now now looking at. And during Dr. Anshu's presentation, we saw that there are new updates which are really important now to cover. So, like, how can we do this effectively? And is there a need for like education and revision of those curriculums? So maybe we can start with Dr. Sagar, who's joining, and he's a seasoned educator. So Welcome, sir. And what are your thoughts on bioinformatics and data science education in India, and especially your experience in Amity University, Mumbai?
Thank you, Sonalika, for a nice introduction. Is I'm audible properly?
Yes, yes.
So, as we see that data science requirement in the life sciences, actually it is a must. If we see that if the biotechnology and other courses are there, now the experimental things, that is equipment things are tremendously developed. That is, if you know, that is earlier 1 decade before, there peoples are doing everything in the labs with the help of test tubes, they're doing assays and so on. At that time, their limited data is there, limited outcome is there. If suppose someone doing an experiment on a protein, they just going to purify the protein and then they just doing a assay. Along with that, if someone doing a work of genomics, in that case also they just going to amplify and deal with only single gene molecules. But now there are the tremendous advancement is there in these techniques. For example, protein purification is there or genome sequences is there. So there is a large amount of the data is generated. If you see that if single run of iron torrent machine, they just give you 300 GB of the data. And then it is very much important to analyze this data, how you just process this data and analyze this data. Now, the efforts of experimental biologists is reduced in some extent, but they need to learn this data science, advanced data science, because the data which is generated by these techniques, that is NGS is there or mass spec is there. So what data output is there? That is huge data is there, and you need to process the data and you have to come up with some useful information out of it. For example, if you run the mass spec, then also you will get the large amount of the masses. You have to analyze which are the important molecules or which are the protein expressed by a particular cell. Mostly, we talking about the cancerous cell and healthy cell. So suppose you perform the mass spec analysis, then to identify these masses and proteins, you need to learn this advanced data science. Then and then only you just able to handle. So for that you need to learn the Perl requirement is there, Python requirement is there, R requirement is there. So these languages will helpful to you to process the data and associated tool which is able to analyze what components are there, and then you just come up with a uh, particular protein or particular gene which is expressed or expressed in that diseased cell, and which is not there in the healthy cell. So, if you see, there is a perception in India, that is the bioinformatics. People are looking at bioinformatics, that is, they just only give some artistic images and for publication only. Means people are only in that area, that is only docking, simulation, and we just creating a picture for publication itself. Means if you see the approaches of the experimental biologists, they just want only you just to do the docking and give it to us, then we will add it and we will publish the data. But these things are now changed. That is, all companies have developed a lot of pipelines are there, and even the normal biologist able to do this docking and simulation stuff. Now the need of the data science, that is, people need or student need to learn these advanced languages as well as advanced tools to process and analyze big data generated by these genomics and proteomics machines which currently people are using.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your insights on that. So to summarize it, I think you're saying that, and also like that could be seen is that the wet lab technology has evolved and the data generation is now easy now compared to before, when we were focused more on single experiments generating. Now we are discussing and we are generating high throughput data, which is simpler to generate than before, and also less cost effective, I think. And the requirement is now more for the analysis part, because the data generation capabilities have increased, the technology has evolved. That's how data science is now becoming a very important tool to handle this data, to get meaningful insights from it. That requires coding, some of the coding challenges. Then someone has to be learn more about how to apply, maybe, than a hardcore coding. But to be able to apply that, basic coding is, of course, is needed, and some bioinformatics related coding information would be needed for the students to dive into this field, which is getting now, the way to access this is becoming easier, with the companies bringing this pipelines, and also labs such as Dr. Anshu's are generating those resources to be utilized by the students.
Yes.
Okay, that's something very insightful. I think maybe now we learned about that why data science is important from a bioinformatics perspective, and how also bioinformatics has been seen before by by biologists, where they can see very few applications. And as the data has grown, I guess, so tremendously, now we are getting all those insights, and that awareness is somehow coming into picture. So the next question that I would want to ask mm, Dr. Anshu is that how do you tackle these challenges, or integration of this information into students' curriculum and the courses? Like, are the university adopting to these new technologies and approaches and integrating them, or there are other opportunities that the students are getting to learn about this through some maybe internships or something like that? So is there a structure, or is there a way that the universities are kind of incorporating this into their course structure?
Right. So Mohit, in the new education policy, as you know, the way the course structure is to be for undergrads is that after first year, if they wish to move fields, they should be able to do that. So recently, I have designed a course for the new education policy for undergrad in data analysis for Madhya Pradesh. So I'm on the board of studies to basically design that course. So the problem is not designing the course. What I have also told them parallelly is that who is going to teach it? We don't have enough people here in the country who can really take up these courses with the students. The course design is not the challenge here. We can write anything on paper, but the ultimate challenge is to put that to practice. Now, national laboratories are not equipped to handle the size of students that we currently generate in university systems. We cannot do that, despite the fact we try our best. We can handle probably a few thousands, but we are not talking about numbers in thousands here. So, and we need that kind of a workforce to really understand it. So then everything boils down to the fact that how motivated the students are to learn these skills. So I think the job that the universities can do here, even if they cannot teach the students the hard skills, if they can convey the message that these skills are critical, it will allow these kids to actually start taking up assignments in that domain. Because I think data analysis skills, if one has to learn, it has to be the best learning happens when you do it partly as structured teaching, but majorly as project-based learning. Reason is it cannot be structured to a very large extent because, as you rightly said, it is an evolving field. And it is evolving so fast that by the time you bring a structure into practice, it will change. So we need to give them the basic fundamental understanding of what the field is, rather than start teaching them only very specific methods. They should be able to adapt to new methods. And that is where training on what is fair data, what are ontologies, what is basically, when you say reference human genome, what is reference? And I think all of this can be taught by life science faculty in universities. You don't need any kind of data analysis skills to do that. So I think the way to approach this problem is to have to train teachers to convey this message across to the students. And then you will actually see the real impact of the new education policy also. If we do it the more traditional way as we have been doing, we'll not be able to scale it up. And that is, I think, a more logical, practical way of approaching this problem.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually, which kind of simplifies this for many faculty who might be
Can I
struggling
add
with.
something to
Yes,
what
yes, I was
Dr.
coming to
Anju
you.
just
Please,
said?
please go ahead.
So as she rightly said that, it's obviously the manpower which is missing, but at the same time, I think at the school level, when we are having 11th and 12th, what I have observed is, the boards have actually given them choices of taking either biology or mathematics. So many a times, the students are not taught mathematics. And when we are talking about data science, you cannot do without mathematics. That's a very big, I think, negative that I can see. And for that, it's very difficult to teach them. So the people who are actually coming from with the biology background, they are actually, because they are scared of mathematics. And without mathematics, it's very difficult to get people and train them as well.
Right. So, Shuchi, I was under the impression that people are allowed to take both, because when I did my 11th, 12th, there was no binding on not taking maths and biology together.
Yeah, I agree that even I was of the same impression, but then this is my personal experience, I would say. So one of my very close relative, actually, she told me, I was like forcing her that don't do that. But then she said that no, the school is straight away saying that either you go for biology or go for mathematics. So when the students used to come, so I used to take up first year students, when they used to say, I never believed it. But, having a experience of this kind, I saw that, no, that's not the fact. So I think you cannot just segregate biology with mathematics when we are talking about data science and something which is really the need of the hour, we can say.
I just want to add here that maybe there is a silver lining, which is statistics. So statistics, I think, by utilizing statistics, and we do have those in the curriculum in most of the biotechnology and all those allied fields. And we think that maybe data science is an advanced statistics that we are utilizing. And maybe if it is only application based, not like coding based, because when many of the bioinformatics challenges are to develop maybe some of these pipelines, workflows, but many of the biologists are just trying to find ways to analyze it and get to the biological part of it, more deep dive into the pathways and look at the mechanism and understand all those things. Maybe they can utilize the data science as a tool rather than data science, go in depth of data science. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what you are referring to, Mohit, is something which in gaming terms, see, I'm also a gamer, so I always go back to the gaming concept. So it is called as onboarding. So the learning curve cannot be very steep. So you need to first onboard, and then there is a concept of scaffolding where you really get people involved in the process. So I think before the anybody, not just school children, anybody coming into data sciences, there has to be an onboarding step, which has to be a small, learning curve. And then you start going on from there. And that is why I think project-based learning is important, because you have a question in mind. There will be some basic interest, because normally what I see in a lot of universities, because I actually go and teach at a lot of places, is that the programming is taught by computer science faculty. There is no context of biology. Students fail to make the connection between why, where do I use what? So I think that is where you need interdisciplinary faculty who can bring that context. And then if that is not possible, do a project-based learning. At least the question is clear in their mind. So they at least understand what they're doing. I completely agree with you.
I think this makes sense in the context of the presentation also, that Dr. Anshu's presentation covered very basic understanding of where these technologies can be applied. So maybe a keyword based, like you're saying that people need to be more, like students need to become more and more comfortable with this basic part of these, like reference genome, you said ontologies, you said fair data. So these are very common terminologies that could be a part of the basic training. And after the basic training, when they are comfortable, it would be more about project-based training. So that would be a proper pipeline. Maybe after the basic understanding, you do a project-based learning and choose your own specialization, choose your own maybe application of bioinformatics. That in metagenomics, I'll do this. In transcriptomics, I'll do this. And in structural bioinformatics, I can do this. So that clarity, if is there, and you also said that if that is something that a life science faculty can easily teach, can easily help the student community understand some of those facts to get them more interested and more exploring by themselves and get that enthusiasm, which is right now missing, maybe due to not being aware, and also some fear of mathematics and algorithms and all of that.
See, I think, Mohit, I'll just take 10 more seconds, is to also understand that till the time the research faculty get convinced that data sciences are important, the message will not trickle down. And I think the AlphaFold has been able to make that mental impact where experimental biologists are able to appreciate why data sciences are so critical. I think before that, there was partial acceptance. With AlphaFold, that acceptance has gone multiple folds. So I think this is a right time for us. It's like when the iron is hot kind of a situation. So right now is the time when we can really make them. That message has to trickle down. And I think that message, if only comes from data scientists, people will not accept it. It has to be the entire community speaking the same language.
So you're saying we were looking for more validation, maybe a few AI-based drugs, and then we will be more accepting it. Yeah, which is, I think,
more acceptance for the in silico part of the work rather than just allowing that wet lab, believing the wet lab result more. Yeah, very true.
All right, I think that concludes. This is a great point, and I think we can now maybe move to the next point, which brings us to the challenge of how, like, you think that integration of this hybrid training, which is like many university, they believe, and many institutions and many students, they think that maybe going to the university and working is the right way of learning. But during the COVID, many universities face this challenge of training students online, and then they were able to do this successfully. But do you see an integration of both of them? Because I saw that latest announcement by our Prime Minister, and he was emphasizing on that there should be an hybrid model. So what are your thoughts about this hybrid model, and is it possible? Because in bioinformatics and data science, yes, that is possible, but in an educational system, is it something that is going to happen?
So I make some points. That is when in the pandemic situation, so we turned from offline to online suddenly. And it is difficult for first one semester. We have found a lot of difficulties that students not able to understand anything when they join. And a lot of issue related to the biotechnology subject. Those are molecular biology or microbiology and so on. The students, theoretically, they understand everything, but the issue with the practical courses, not able to understand anything. And also in virtual world, you need your proper attention when the lecture or anything is. If you just sitting in front of computers for time being, and if you not listening in properly, you not understand, and you need to revise and you read it again. So that issues are there in the online system, but we are escaped from that for computational biology because we successfully conducted all the practicals, all the theory lecture, but also that is the students when in your presence when they are learning, then it is some a different impact is there. Impact is there. If everything is online, it is a little bit difficult student not understand. And we also evaluated the student after examination. So the score of means passing percentage of the student in lockdown period is of university around 95 to 98%. And then after uh, now physically they are attending, and in this semester it is suddenly dropped till 70%. So huge difference, 30% difference is there. Why this people's means many peoples are qualified this? Because MCQs are there, and open book exams are conducted by the colleges and universities, and that's why there are the what we can say misuse of this done by. And even though the knowledge level of the student is not that much, means if you just when as a teacher you just recall the previous thing, because the syllabus is designed in such a way that you need to remember the earlier semester thing, then you just able to go for the next subject. But when you just try to recall the back subject, they're not able to understand what actually they learn. So it is very difficult to teacher to teach each and every subject in online. Only the thing is that if they are doing the specific courses on their own means the university system is different. But if the students are doing a courses in online mode, paying the money for the course, then they have tremendous attention, but that attention is not there when they're learning in the university system. And that's why a little bit problem. But finally, the system is online or offline, doesn't matter. That is, that student or that participant should have attention towards the lecture or practice. And in national education policy, I think they have implemented a lot of things, that is in out, multiple in out they have made. So it would be better, I think, that a student can come in anytime, went out anytime, and as per his or her choice, he can opt the subject and so on. Because if you know the 12th passed student, they actually don't know what subject is this, actually what I have to do, even though it is imposed by the parent on them. That is, you have to learn this and that. This subject is good and this subject is bad. But student come to know after 2 3 years when he is in last year of graduation. He come to know which subject is good one and what he like, and according to that they able to change. And that's why this in-out system in NAP is good for the student. At the last stage, they can switch and they just go into the interested subject.
All right. Thank you so much. I mean, that kind of is in between. And I think COVID-19 has helped us maybe through these challenges to us. And now we have this experience of working online and saw those challenges. Now there are some good things that we can take from there, and that has been taken up already. And there is an integration and there is more flexibility and customization that could be more personalized. And that personalized training is maybe answer is one of some of the answers required for maybe better training and better outcome for every student, because we also get like good students, but there are some students who are not being able to do that in such focused way which they should have. So I think great point, and that's something that is a great thing for moving forward. That brings us to our last
So,
last question. Yeah,
Mohit,
please.
may I add one thing here? So, see, the hybrid mode that the Prime Minister is talking about, so there are two ways of doing that. First is we can actually have DIY kits. And this is not something which is hypothetical. We are already making a lot of DIY components and sending to the students, and they can actually try it out at their home. So they can actually learn to do experiments hands-on. Second is we are also generating a lot of, this virtual reality content where you actually have that haptic sense of controlling things and doing the experiment sitting at home. So obviously the hybrid method will actually involve both. But yeah, but this is something where the content is increasing day by day and DIY kits are also increasing. I would strongly recommend people not to do this, but if you really need to generate a mutant fly or to do CRISPR, believe me, every single component of that is available on Amazon. So you don't need any lab to generate a mutant fly as of today. You can do that. This is a very heavily unregulated domain that requires a lot of regulation. But to tell you that if you really want to do experiments, possible. So we need to put that to good use now.
Yeah, that's great to know that DIY and VR is making to the education where this has a maybe huge future and impact, and also maybe business opportunities for startups and students who are graduating now, and they would be the ones who can maybe do this more in their field. So yeah,
I
great
want to add
thoughts.
up
And
one more
yes,
point to this hybrid mode that all of us have gone through. So it's not only just the students, like it is saying it from the point of students. Even with regards to teachers, also, it becomes very difficult to convey your message because it's not, we cannot see the expression of the students. And,
yeah,
so that also makes it demoralizes us also to some extent because we don't know whether what we are saying, are they able to grasp it or not? And
yeah.
whether we are just talking to walls. So that again makes it difficult. And with regards to when we are talking about bioinformatics or any computational experiments like work that we are doing, we are also unable to see what they are doing is correct or not. It might be they have got some result, but is it the right one, or are they going by the right way is what, which is very difficult to monitor also. So, it's both sided. And once the person who is delivering also becomes monotonous, then obviously whatever interest is there, that also goes out. So hybrid does, restrict even us to get to some kind of innovative measures to help them enjoy learning.
Yeah, so you're saying that, so I think many institutions made the video compulsory so that they can see the students. And but it's not possible when you're looking at a bigger class, it's just does not make
They will
it
say we have connection issues, that's the
similar. Yeah,
common
yeah,
thing that we
similar
actually come
problem.
across.
And another challenge that you have mentioned is also to track progress, like how to properly track progress of the students who are doing these things online where you don't see them actually completing, or maybe how they're completing it and if they're learning all of that or not. And then all of this is kind of like maybe at one time you see the expression, and as a teacher you understand that this is what the student has got, but that is missing, and which is a demotivating factor. But yeah, I mean, pros and cons. Some of the things that we have learned is that by using technology, this experience can be improved far better, and that's where we are heading. So the use of technology and then use of mentors and the requirement of mentors in this field is something I also like to point out. That is also a requirement, and those students who are now getting educated and trained could be those resources. So there is this need of capacity, student capacity based that is required for the industry as well as for the academia. So those with those points, I think we can maybe move to the last point. We are running out of time, but about the promising areas that please, I think if all of you can just tell two of the promising areas where this biotechnology and bioinformatics and computational biology is heading. So precision medicine is one such area that Dr. Anshu has already recommended, and I would like to ask Dr. Suchi and Dr. Sagar also to recommend students that maybe these are the promising areas where the industry will be requiring students, the academia will be requiring students for research.
Yeah. So, like promising area, obviously one is precision medicine that we're talking about. Personalized medicine is something which is really a promising area that is there by using, bioinformatics and the omics technologies. That's because by studying a particular person's complete DNA, I think we can actually find out the things that are specific to that person, and that would actually help us to be giving a personalized medicine. In fact, using the data that can be generated, say simply like we are talking about taking the all the data from blood sample and urine sample, we can actually analyze and generate models where we can see what is one thing that is increasing in a particular group of people and not in the other group. So comparing those kind of information that is available. Now, if you see it practically, when there are loads of people who are getting their blood test done every day, urine test done every day. But that data is really very important from the research point of view, which is actually going waste at present. So that's one area where we can actually think of exploring, and that would actually help us to generate quite a few models, So there are certain parameters when if it fits the parameter, okay, this model can be used, and that would help the doctors to prescribe medicines and also help them to guide them as to the right lifestyle that they could lead for helping them in a good way, so they can lead a good life accordingly. So that can be obviously with regards to various diseases that we
All right. I think electronic health records and analysis of that data you're saying is very important and could play an important role.
So, from my point of view, there are a lot of opportunity actually in the market. People are searching for data scientists. If you see that machine learning is there, artificial intelligence is there, NGS data analysis is there. So, or R is there, those people are able to handle the Python is there. So those people who have expertise, if you just put a single cell on job.ac.uk, you will find there are the thousands of positions are there that people are waiting for skilled manpower who have expertise in this particular area. That people's biologists are there. The issue is that biologists are there. Hardcore biologists, they don't know the computational thing. And computational biologists, computational people are there. They are good in the computation, but they don't know biology. So bioinformaticians or data scientists are the connecting link. And obvious, these people know both things, and they have lot of opportunity. Right? That is, peoples are one example I will give. That is in one hospital, they just collecting the data, and their requirement is of the person who is able to process the data, medical data, and present in the graphical representation. And they're searching for the person who have experience in R package, okay, for process the data and represent. And they say that any amount means package they will offer. So that is the opportunity which is already present outside, but people need to learn the Python or machine learning or artificial intelligence and NGS data analysis. A lot of opportunities are there, and now the university systems are also implementing this, but there is also limitation for MSc biotechnology, how much subject you incorporate of data science, rather than means you need to focus more on biotechnology, and that some additional subject you can add. But those are interested, they can learn these additional courses from. I hope you are offering the courses in data science and so on. So a student can join and they can learn the data science or specific component from other institute as well. So this is all about the opportunity which are there. And I hope that if the student develop the interest in the computational biology, it is very flourishing and now the advanced field. But the thing is that you need to update yourself every time, because the thing which are there in last year, it is tremendously changing next year. So you need to keep you updated, and then you will survive in this area. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sagar, for those insights and important skill sets for students to take home, take notes of data science, machine learning, and on Python. So maybe if Dr. Anshu, you can conclude shortly. We are just out of time for the next student poster presentation.
So I think what Shuchi and Sagar has said as very, very critical components. So what they actually, students got a lot of keywords. They may add network medicine to it because it's like, combining all of that together. So if you have the right keywords on Google, you will be able to fetch the right information. I think searching is also a very important skill set. Don't underestimate that. If you don't have the right keywords, you may not be able to land on the right resources. So I think all the faculty gave you a very good set of keywords today. Go for that. And a request to Dr. Sagar, if you can list sites where there is a consolidated list of what the current requirements for industry and academia are. I think students can take a look at that and take cues from there to start practicing.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, all the panelists, for being a part of this Omics Research Symposium. And we are really, really happy to have you all and learn so much from these sessions. And I hope that the same goes for all the participants who have been part of this discussion. And we have also this being shared live on YouTube, where we have a lot of users watching this.